Welcome. I'm live on both Instagram and YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube or the replay and there's this weird inception thing going on, that is why. But I really wanted to be in both places at once. Hopefully this will cooperate with me. There we go. Hello. I'm just going to turn my phone on silent. Hello, Anna. We're going to give everybody a few minutes to pop on. I'm like the queen of going live like 2 hours after I decide. I'm just like, oh yeah, morning of, we're doing this. So I know everybody needs a moment to catch up. But today we're going to be talking about the 78 Deep Challenge / course. And me saying that will make more sense as we go on. But this is a challenge that I'm hosting that kicks off officially on March 1st. I've been talking about it on Instagram, but I haven't officially really announced it on YouTube, nor have I really talked extensively about how it came about, what we're going to be doing, why you might want to join, and how you can join, all those beautiful things. So we're going to get into that today. Let me just see. I'm going to try to keep an eye on the YouTube chat as well as the Instagram chat. But if you're watching the replay and you have questions, please feel free to pop them below and I will find a way to answer them so that everybody can get that information. So a little bit of backstory as people are still filtering in. What is the 78 Deep Challenge? Why is it happening? How did this come about? So some of you may recall and may have even participated in last year the challenge. Oh my gosh. My brain just let go of it. What was that called? It was hosted by Mindful Tarot. I'm literally blanking, guys. But anyway, Mindful Tarot hosted this challenge that she does all the time. And basically you go through the 78 cards one at a time with her specific prompts until the end of the year. You're supposed to do it with one deck, etc., etc. And I attempted to do this challenge. Drop 'em 78. Thank you, Anna. I'm like, help me out here. The name of her challenge was Drop 'em 78. And through doing that challenge, I found that moving through the cards in this structured way was very insightful to my own path and the way that I chose to alter her prompts to work for me. And I had friends like Anna who also finished the challenge who found it very, again, helpful, insightful, all the things. I, however, didn't complete the challenge, and I learned a couple of things along the way about why it didn't work for me and how I was desiring more from the challenge. And what I found that I was missing during that challenge was why it mattered to me, right? Going through the cards one card at a time through the entire tarot deck and purposely reflecting on them is deep work. Like it's a lot of work, and it's super insightful if we can do it constructively. But as a seasoned reader, just looking at the card meaning themselves, I wasn't really finding the depth and helpfulness within it that I wanted. So within that challenge on my own, I began really exploring, and you can see this on some of my Instagram posts as an example, what my relationship to that card was. If I pulled that card, what did it bring up for me? How had my relationship with the card evolved? Was it something that prompted me to do a little bit of shadow work, or was it something that I had already worked through? The thing about tarot is that it's so expansive. Tarot is like an entire language that is ever evolving and being added upon. And everyone's kind of language that they use around the tarot, different interpretations for different cards, different ways of looking at different concepts, they're all unique to you and your experience, which is why it makes the tarot such a valuable and deep tool for self-healing and self-growth. So with this kind of Drop M78 challenge that Mindful Tarot had held before, and then sitting with all of these reflections for myself, I was thinking about doing it again because I didn't finish and I wanted to really get that depth of reflection back after I had stopped. And my beautiful friend Anna, who I was talking to, also wanted to redo the challenge because she had finished it and she found it so helpful. So with that in mind, I was like, well, let's do it again, but let me do it my way. So I set out to invent some type of challenge that would walk us through the 78 cards of the tarot with this lens of personal self-reflection and personal tarot language in mind. And as I continued to build this, what I found was that while the tarot is our guide on the journey and it's a big part of it, it's not the sole focus, which is how I believe that my 78 Deep really deviates from the Drop M78 challenge. So what is the 78 Deep? Now that you know how it came about, what is it? This is a challenge that you can choose to use as a course with the purpose of diving into the depths of you and really exploring what is going on for you right now, what is alive for you, what is happening within your world, and bringing a sense of understanding, reflection, and healing to your path through the lens of the tarot. When we begin on March 1st, there is a prep week, and then after that, we will be going through the tarot in a specific way that I've laid out, which I will talk about in a moment, with an invitation to reflect each day on not just what the card means, but what does that card bring up in you? What is it bringing up in you today? What has it brought up in you in the past? What lessons do you have to learn from it? Etc., etc. And as we move through the tarot, my intention is to not only have you be able to expand your language with your tarot, but more importantly, come to a deeper understanding of yourself and exploring the depths of yourself, which is why we're calling it the 78 Deep, because it's a journey into the depths of you with the 78 cards of the tarot as your guide. So if that sounds like something that you're excited about and you want to join in on, I invite you to join us. You can join us for free in the challenge, or you can join us in the course and get a bunch of additional extra resources, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first I want to get like really into the details about this. Let me take a sip of coffee and see if there are any questions. Ashley says, I'm so excited for this. So glad. Oops, I hit wrong. But oh, don't worry about it. So this is our, this is our little graphic. 78 Deep. So with the lens of this challenge in mind, call her Captain Nemo. Ahoy. You were so funny, Anna. with the depth of this challenge in mind, you can choose to do this challenge in whatever way is calling to you. The most important thing as we're moving forward to get the most out of this is to do the personal reflections and complete that, right? To complete the journey. However you choose to work through that journey is going to be unique to you and your preferences and what you like. What does that mean, right? What does that mean? Here's an example. I myself cannot commit and will not constrain myself by trying to commit to journeying through all 78 cards using a single deck. It's just not going to happen. It's not conducive to my style. So what I'm going to do for the challenge is I'm going to go through the cards with whatever deck I feel like using that day. And that's going to be great for me. It's going to allow me the flexibility. Doing that helps me to stay excited about it, to explore different perspectives and different things that might come up based on intuitively selecting a deck. That's going to be really fun for me. However, my beautiful friend Anna, who I originally developed this concept with, loves going through one deck at a time. So she's going to be using one deck and spending the entire time diving into the 78 cards within that deck and really exploring and getting juicy with that. And that's exciting for her, which is perfect, right? So my encouragement to you as you join in the challenge and get excited about this is to use the structure, the rules that I'm about to share with you for the challenge as a guideline, with the intent being to remain on the focus of doing the challenge for the purpose of excavating out of yourself whatever needs to be excavated, and not focusing so much on being rigid about what deck, etc., etc. As we move through the 78 cards, we're not going in order. I have taken the entire deck and divided it up into suits, or elements, I should say, including the major arcana. So we have 4 elemental journeys that we're going to go through. And the reason I chose the elements is because, one, it allowed me to easily shuffle them into an order that felt intuitive, which we'll get to in a moment, but also because when we're thinking about journeying into the, sorry, YouTube, journeying into the self and all of the things that are contained within the self, right? If we're thinking about water, we really need to, well, not need to, but we're invited to explore these different pieces of ourselves, right? The earth and the earthly realm and the things that go along in our lives. The water realm, the intuition, the emotions, relationships, all those things that come with that. Air, the thoughts and the way that we think about things and the way that we interact with others and communicate. And then fire, our passion, our spirit, etc., etc. These things are more important to our lives and the scope of our lives than a suit or the progression of the Fool's Journey. And it really honors our connection to the divine. It just feels perfect for me. So we're going to move through the 4 suits. Again, I have divided the major arcana to go into these suits. So what I did was I took out all the earth cards, all the pentacles, and all of the zodiacal associated earth cards, and I shuffled them up until it felt right. And then once it felt right, I recorded the order they were in, and that is the order we are going to move through them in. So I will be providing you with graphics with information about this, but we kick off officially after our prep week on March, I believe it's the 8th. Let me look. March 8th with the Earth suit and the Knight of Pentacles. And I'm really excited about this because the Knight of Pentacles is, it's such a perfect card to embark on this kind of journey with, because the Knight of Pentacles is one who is patient and steady and focuses on the larger goal at hand and continues to move forward at a steady pace, keeping the mission in mind. And they don't allow things to distract them or take away from their mission. They might recognize the need to slow down or speed up at any time, to rest or, you know, go hard, as as we would say. But he keeps moving and he's patient. And this is how I invite you to approach this challenge. Each day, as we reflect on the cards, there's an invitation to look at 3 different things. First, the traditional meaning of the card. Second, whatever unique perspective the deck that you are using, either on that day or for the challenge as a whole, offers. And then third, the most important question, and the one that I invite you to not omit. So if you get busy and you need to omit some of these questions and you only want to answer one, this is the one to answer. And this is your Wisdom of the Hermit question. Now, what does that mean? In order to explain this, I would like to introduce you to our chosen guide from the tarot for this journey. And that is the Hermit. And I asked Anna to pull a card for us as the guide for this journey from the deck that we used to put this order together with. And the Hermit is who came up, which I'm glad I asked her to do this, because if I had gotten this card myself, I would have reshuffled, because this is my tarot card of the year. But the Hermit wants to help us with this journey. And the reason that the Hermit is so perfect for this journey is because the Hermit archetype is all about not retreating from society to withdraw or to be alone or, you know, antisocial. When we think about the Hermit, we think of, like, you know, the little curmudgeon old person in their, like, little hut in the middle of the woods who doesn't want to talk to anybody and is like, get off my lawn. Anyway. But the archetype of the Hermit is much wiser and different than that, has a lot more to offer than that. And the archetype of the Hermit invites us to go in to ourselves, right? He has the lantern, but the lantern is not guiding him through the outside world. The lantern is guiding him internally into his own inner darkness. And in his own inner world is where he sits and reflects, not to ruminate or to necessarily look for the answer, but rather to sit with and digest everything that's inputting into his life in order to turn it into wisdom. The Hermit is really the archetype that takes a grain of sand and turns it into a pearl. And he does that through shutting out all of the extra noise and focusing inward so that he can come to his own understanding of what things mean for him. He spends a lot of time before then going through the journey of the tarot and collecting information from all of these different players, right? From the Empress and the Emperor and the Lovers and et cetera, et cetera. But then he comes back and he says, okay, after I've learned all of this, what does this mean for me? What is true for me based on this? What have I learned? What have I gained? What do I choose to see moving forward? Where is the light in this? And as the hermit emerges from the end of his journey, right, he enters into a state of change, which propels him into the second half of the major arcana, because the next card after the hermit is the Wheel of Fortune. So with the hermit as our guide in the 78 Deep Challenge, the intention is to embody the energy of the hermit, to continue to unplug from everything that we think we should know about a specific card, about ourselves, about what it means, about the way that we interact with the world, and to pull it back and to go within and really tap into the wisdom of what that card has to share with you about you and the way you experience this life that day. See why this is big? You know, I'm a Scorpio and I love transformation and the underworld and going there. So this is just, I made a challenge for me and I'm so happy some of you are on board with this as well. So the wisdom of the hermit reflection question. The reflection question is, looking inside of myself, what is alive for me at this moment when I look at the card? And don't worry, you don't need to write this down. As long as you are here, have signed up for the free version of the challenge, are around on Instagram for the posts and things, I will post these questions once prep week hits, so don't worry about it. But within that question, right, it leaves a lot of room for interpretation. So I've come up with some examples of additional prompts that you might use for this question to help you dive a little deeper. So when I pull a card, I just pulled the card off the top of the deck. This is Temperance. So let's say I pulled Temperance. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, what's alive within me, within myself today while looking at this card? And I'm just in a space where that question don't do anything for me. I could ask myself, to me, what has this card always felt like? What kind of English is that? What has this card always been associated with or felt like? Do I tend to struggle with this card? When was the last time I pulled this card? What is this card inviting me into? What is this card confirming for me? What is the hard truth of this card? And what is the loving embrace of this card? These questions, while I don't want you to answer all of them, right, are examples of how I could interact with this card to explore what this has for me in the depths, right? And on days where you're really tuned in, tapped in, it'll come up immediately. You won't have to even try. You'll just pull a card and have an immediate reaction, right? And then you get to explore that reaction. But if you're struggling, there are some options. Let's see. I'm going to take a sip of coffee and think about what else I need to share with you. As you go through this journey, if you want to do this wholeheartedly, right, you really want to take to heart the 78 deep challenge, because you could do this just as a regular tarot study challenge. If you just want to use this as a way to study the tarot in a fun order with your friends, and you want to get familiar with the different card meetings and reflect because you're at your beginning of your journey with tarot, by all means, you're welcome to do that. This is a great opportunity to do that. If you want extra support with that, I have my Tarot 101 class, which you can take. But if you really want to dive deep, right, to really take to heart the depths portion of this challenge, to really go there as the hermit and use the tarot not just as a 78 set card system, but as a window into the other side, into the depths of you, into a place of healing and expansion, then you're really going to want to approach this challenge with a opportunity and a willingness to be radically honest with yourself. Because what the tarot does is it acts as a mirror of reflection. There are so many different meanings for the Temperance card, right? But depending on my unique life experience, depending on where I'm at currently on my path, Temperance, asking me to balance and put one foot on the ground and one foot in the sky, may be super activating for me. I may have some sort of adverse reaction to this. I may be like, well, F you, I can't do that right now, blah, 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 right? We've all been there, right? We've all pulled a tarot card and been like, draw again. But that's an invitation. It's an invitation to investigate what is alive for you in that, right? There's obviously something in me, something larger within me bubbling up that I now get to explore that the Temperance card provoked, right? So the cards themselves can be both the medicine and the kind of thing that's poking at the thing that ails us, right? So I invite you to be radically honest with yourself. Now, if you want to join us for the free version of the challenge, I'll leave those details linked below. If you'd like to go even deeper, if you're like, Leanne, this is me, this is calling out to me, I need to like go there with myself, and I really would love some structured support around this, some examples, some extra fun resources. Here's where the course part comes in. I have just recently opened the Sanctuary, which is our multi-dimensional membership space for mystical creative people who are looking to connect, heal, and expand on their soul-aligned journey. And for the first 3 months of that membership, we are focusing on the 78 Deep Challenge. So if you're desiring to join us in that, you can join us through the membership or through the course. Either way, you get the same material. Here's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be guiding you through the whole thing, right? There's going to be some guidance that I'm posting on Instagram and through the emails. If you want to just follow along and do your own thing, there will be things there for you. But if you really want day in and day out to have a firm structure to go with, You're going to want to join us. We're going to be walking through the cards together. There's a group space to connect and share what we're using, all the exciting prep things. And then there are additional resources. For example, during prep week, I am releasing a guided psychic journey, which takes you into the depths of you, into the tarot library, where you get to explore what is really going to be alive for you on this journey. I just edited it. It's blowing my own mind. I'm really excited to share that with you. So there's that. You're going to be pulling an additional card to join you on your journey as your supportive guide to the Hermit. I'm going to be sharing a look into my tarot journal. So I have, where is it? There it is. It was hiding behind a paper. I'm like, I just had it. I have a tarot journal where I started a project that I'm going to be continuing, but it's hard to show on here. It has a page for each card and has different information about my specific associations with the tarot, different extra resources that I put in the front and stuff. So I'm going to be giving you an intimate walkthrough on that, talking about tarot journals, my tarot journal, my advice if you want to start one, etc., etc. We'll be talking about different topics throughout the challenge as it goes on. So later on, we'll be talking about stalker cards, how you can work with that, a guided, structured form to do shadow work with any of the shadow work cards that come up, and anything else fun that I throw in there. In there, you also get the 78 Deep course guidebook, where I take you through divining your own voyage style. So really thinking about what kind of decks you want to use, how frequently you want to interact with the information, all that fun stuff. There are guided intention prompts and journaling prompts. You get not only the printable graphics, which you, those of you signing up for free will get these printable graphics as well, with all of the tarot prompts or whatever you want to call them. But you'll also get the calendar printout. So I have designed a calendar that goes through March, April, May, because it's going to take us into the end of May. And every day it tells you what card we're going through. Okay. And then you'll have a printout with all of the exploration card prompts and those extra ones that I mentioned, and then a sheet. So if you want to print out a reflection sheet, and I know YouTube, you probably can't see this very well, so I'll flip it around so I can show you better in a moment. But we have today's card. You can circle the element that we're in, talk about traditional meanings, the unique perspective, and then your hermit reflection. So this is really great if you are super busy and you know that if you have to write down the reflection questions, you won't do it. You'd rather just flip it open and fill out whatever you want to fill out for that day and call it good. You can print out a bunch of these and have those all ready to go. So those are all included within the course or the sanctuary. I know that might be a little confusing as I'm saying it, but you get the same thing either way, and all of it is explained on the sales page, which I will leave linked below for you if you're on YouTube, or you can find it in my bio if you're on Instagram, and I'll keep popping it in my stories as we go along. In addition to that, if you're joining us for the course, you will get my daily reflections on the cards. So I'll be sharing with you, the general meaning of the card, whatever perspective and hermit reflection I have from my card on that day. I'm really excited to share this with you. It's super scary because it's really intimate, but I think it's going to be a beautiful way for you to see how I'm doing this, how this works, how you could maybe deepen your own reflections for that. It may give you some different ways to look at cards you hadn't thought of before. So I'm really excited to share that with you. If you're just joining us for the free challenge, I will be posting once a week my favorite reflection from the week. So you won't get daily reflections from me, but you will be kept up to date when we're starting a new element. There we go. A new element. I will give you the prompt list, and I will be posting my favorite card once a week. So I think that's all I have for you, my loves. When prep week comes out, no matter what part of the challenge you're choosing to join in, I will have some type of prep week exercise. So definitely go ahead and join. If you just want to join the free version of the challenge, join the email list and sign up that way. Again, link in my bio on the 78 Deep page so that you get that information on time so that you can join us. Let me take a sip of coffee and think if there's anything else I need to show you or talk about. If you're here and have any questions, this would be a beautiful time to pop those in. I'm just going to over here show the printable to YouTube a little bit better to move some of this stuff out of the way. This is the guide. Choosing your own voyage. Intentions. These are the beautiful graphics. Hi. These is an example of our printable calendar. That's April here. This is March. Daily card exploration. Extra journaling pages there. Sorry, bumped you again, YouTube. All right. So my loves, that is all the information you need to know about the 78 Deep Challenge / course experience invitation. I'm so excited to be seeing those of you who have been sharing the I'm in graphic. For those of you who sign up, you get an email. There's a graphic that says I'm in. So if you're in, you can repost that and be entered to win a copy of the course guide, even if you don't join us in the course, but you're really going to want to. It's going to be epic. Of course, if you join us in the sanctuary, you get all of the course material and you get additional mentoring days from me if you join us on the gold tier. So that could be super resourceful for you if you desire, and there's extra meetups and fun stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you. I know I threw a ton of information at you today, and it was a little helter-skelter because it all kind of connects. I did my best to deliver it in a way that wasn't confusing. But if you still have questions and you'd like to know information about something, or you're having trouble with a link, or you want to know whether this sanctuary would be a good fit for you, any of the above, please do not hesitate to comment or reach out via email or DM, and I will try my best to answer those questions or help you decide if something is for you or not. All right, my loves, I'm gonna go. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to hear who's joining in and all the excitement and things. Thank you to my beautiful Anna for helping me come up with this challenge. It was absolutely a joy. Okay, we have a question here. Ashley asks, you may have mentioned it, but should we join closer to March 1st? That is up to you, my love. Right now, if you would like to join the sanctuary or buy the course standalone, either way, there are things there to explore. So if you want to join the sanctuary, you want to get introduced to the sanctuary, there are welcome materials to go through up right now. We have our initiation ceremony for that on the 29th, which if you want to get in there, you're not going to want to miss that. So definitely join in time for that. There's also the guide is already up for you, and I will be posting some of the prep resources later today. So if you wanted to join today, there's things there for you to explore. If you'd rather wait, that's totally up to you. But I think if you wait until March 1st, then you might get a little overwhelmed trying to get all of your ducks in a row with, you know, the sanctuary material and the 78 deep stuff. But if you're watching this later on and you're like, oh no, you know, it's March 1st or it's March 13th or whatever, I want to join in, you absolutely still can. There's nothing wrong with that. Ashley says, oh, sounds amazing. That totally makes sense. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm so happy that helped. All right, my loves, I'll give it another second since there is a delay with questions. I know lives are kind of funny like that. But yeah, what a great question. I'm just going to do an awkward dance while we wait for the YouTube things to catch up. Well, and Instagram. All right, I think we're caught up. I don't see anything else. Thank you, my loves. I will see you either in the sanctuary or on March 1st for our prep week. I can't wait. All right, my loves. Bye.